when you buy a property, for every 10 points your credit score is lower, on average, you pay an extra $30,000 over the course of your loan. So before you even touch the property, before you even buy the property,
how to leverage business credit for Airbnb properties. Was that the only way? Of course, when you mentioned about the arbitrage, or what else is there that people need to know about getting funding for their Airbnb in general?
yeah, man. I mean, going back to my start, I mean, I was my own first customer, right? And I did it for an Airbnb. This is 2019. Again, for all the YouTube watchers, feel free to pocket watch me. 15 Spring, Hudson, New York, 12534. I bought the property for 58,000 in 2019. I sold it 2 years later for $465,000. And then I'm going to take it a step further. A lot of you guys will be like, oh, you bought it during COVID. Here's another address for you: 286 Tommy Trail, Athens, New York. Bought that post-COVID for $186,000, sold it 1 year and 1 day later for $550,000. So I know it works. I know it's a very practical model. It's a very similar private equity model. You buy an underutilized asset, you re-leverage it, you put it into a different asset class, you have some cash flow running through it, so you have a trailing 12 of revenue, and then you're able to sell that property based on the revenue. But again, to talk about where business funding can be utilized in the Airbnb space, and again, I have a chart that I'm visualizing in my head of all the different spots. So I'll go through all the different spots Airbnb or business funding can be leveraged. So number one, when you buy a property, for every 10 points your credit score is lower, on average, you pay an extra $30,000 over the course of your loan. So before you even touch the property, before you even buy the property, we're going to get your credit as high as humanly possible, so you lock in the best possible 30-year mortgage rate on your credit. Number two, when you get a mortgage, you get an inquiry on your credit. So we remove all inquiries before and after the funding process. Again, because if you go for business funding and you have a bunch of inquiries on your credit, again, the bank is a person. If I go to borrow money from Calvin and he sees that I've borrowed I've asked 7 different people for money, which is an inquiry, and none of that is reporting on my personal credit, it looks like 7 people said no to me. So what do you think Calvin's going to say? No, I'm not going to give you any money. You just got denied from 7 other people. The bank's going to say the same thing. Another way is we can help you get access to business funding. Let's say you need to close in the property. Sure, you get a mortgage of 80%, 90%. But what about the other 10%? That could be, $70,000, $100,000, right? We can help you get business funding to actually close in the property. You liquidate the credit card or get a line of credit to actually close in the property. Okay. After you close in the property, you're like, great. Okay. I just put down $100,000. Now you have this property you have to renovate. Maybe you get a construction loan or you have to buy furniture. Okay, let's go the construction loan route. You can then use the business funding, pay the general contractor to renovate the property, so you can get that construction draw from the construction company. Or let's say it's a property you don't really have to renovate much. You can put that, because remember, if an Airbnb, you close on it, you still got to buy that furniture. You still got to make it nice and get it ready. Let's put that $50,000 on business funding on the furniture. And again, that's 0% between 12 and 18 months. Now, do you think you're going to make an investment back on that property between 12 and 18 months? I would hope so, right? So boom, you get the property rolling with the furniture, because people forget about all these unforeseen expenses. And again, especially with real estate, with Airbnb that's so capital intensive, you want to have that unsecured money going on behind you, because business isn't always going to be up and to the right. What if it's a slow season? You need that line of credit to get you through the season. And that's for any business, man. It's not always up and to the right. My company last year, we made money, 10 out of the months, but 2 of the months we weren't profitable for one reason or another. The same with Airbnb, but I didn't sweat it because I had that line of credit and that, $1.5 million of funding behind me. So we were able to push forward and keep moving.